Hey everyone, welcome to the Star Wars CCG 2018 US Nationals Day 2 Championship. Right now, we are looking at matchup, our first featured matchup of the day between Steven Cellucci, who is the Dark Side Senate player at the bottom of your screen, and Chris Gogolen, who is the light side diplomatic something to Alderaan, mission to Alderaan, Diplo player. Um, we could probably, I don't know. We can ask the Twitch chat. Hopefully people should be. Looks like people are in there. Um, all right. So Beef Red and Jan are thinking about joining me in a few minutes. Let's get this game started. We'll talk about the sort of strategy each player going for, and then maybe add them in once the game gets going. So here, Slucci's first action is going to use squabbling to pull a senator. Um, So, Steven Cellucci started Surface Defense V, which lets him draw a 12 card hand but doesn't give him any effects. And Chris Gogolen started I Must Be Allowed to Speak, which is going to let him pull a farm and get used pile pulls. Strike Planning, that'll let him get Mon Mothma and General Kraken. And then Civil Disorder V, which when he battles, he can retrieve a non-maintenance, non-EPP character, but more importantly for this matchup, makes all senators deploy +2. And there's a current recent competitive balance uh, thread discussing this card and if it maybe hurts Senate too much, and we might see that here. But Dark Senate, usually their game plan is to play 5 or 6 senators over the Senate and use their text, and of course that's going to cost a lot more to do so. Steven Cellucci though has some activation. He plays both the bridge and the security tower. Um, he's going to be looking to get out some senators and a hover cam, which will give him another 3 force and start getting some activation going. Early on though, he may want to attack Diplo if he has the option. Senate usually plays a fair amount of space, both Fett V in his ship, Slave One, and typically Baron, Emperor Shuttle, things like that. That light side Tatooine, however, will limit Darkseid's destinies unless they have an independent ship. So he will need something like Stinger or Slave One. Oh, yeah, try and close that and let me know. Apparently, the players can hear me right now. I'm outside the room, and yesterday they couldn't hear my commentary, which obviously is important. You don't want to mention what's in their hand and things like that. Yesterday they couldn't hear me. I'm guessing because the game room was louder. Today it's not quite as boisterous as a lot of people are still sleeping in. And so let's see. Where was I? Slucci. A lot of times the Dark Senate player will want to attack Diplo early on if they have the space to do so. They'll need an independent ship there to draw more than one destiny, like Slave One. Um, Emperor and Shuttle won't be able to do much without that. So Gogolin told me right before the game started that he was thinking about playing Diplo, and he texted his friend Greg Shaw, who uh, who advised him that Cellucci would probably either play Indoor Ops or Senate, and that they should just add in Civil, and so they did, and it will probably be an uphill climb for Cellucci because of that. So he does play spin, and it looked like he was going to take Slave One and then kind of second guess that. Um, Diplo's plan here, obviously they've got that civil disorder that's going to slow the Senate quite a bit, but their plan here is going to be to move over, sort of make sure they don't get blown out in space by a bunch of ships, and have enough fodder on the Tantive to be able to move over to Alderaan and flip their objective, and then just spread out guys all the way across Tatooine. Um, to utilize the flip side of their objective, which adds 1 to their total battle destiny for each site they occupy with rebels of ability less than 4, and and Dark Senate's ground package usually isn't super strong. They've got some EPP mauls and maybe a handful of other uh, mains, but it's typically heavy on space and light on ground, and so if you as a Diplo player can just kind of deal with that one EPP maul with a barrier and it's a trap or even just Hujiks, and he kind of gets stuck somewhere, you can just spread out on the ground and do a bunch of drains, maybe Tatooine Celebration to retrieve, and so I think Diplo's going to have to try and go hard at space to make sure they don't allow light to set up like that, get free drains, get in celebration, retrieval, that sort of thing. So right here, Cellucci just draws a couple and saves a good chunk of force. So if Gogolen moves out to Chandrilla, which is often the plan, is you drop Mon Mothma, she pulls Chandrilla for free, and you move Tantive over on its way over to Alderaan. And it does look like Chandrilla is in his deck, as is Alderaan. So he'll pull Alderaan with the objective, and then he'll play Mothma free that he pulled with strike planning, and she'll pull out Chandrilla. And but he does want to make sure it'll depend on what other characters he has in his hand to go with that ship, whether or not he moves out. Because if he stays at Tatooine and a bunch of ships come down, he can forfeit R2 and Red 5 and they go down to the Dune Sea and relocate there. But if he moves out and they have to get forfeited due to high battle destiny, they will be lost, and then the plans themselves will relocate, but it'll be a lot harder to flip. So he'll need to have Bale or Captain Antilles or some other backup, most likely, before he moves his ship out. So he does play the Mothma and pulls a Chandrilla. I think it very much depends on Cellucci's hand, but I think because of that civil disorder, it's going to force him not to play senators. Normally, your turn one with Senate would be Lot Dodd and another senator and flip, and Lot Dodd lets you search your force pile every control phase and take a card, and so you generally want to do that. Can they hear me with both doors closed? We're still good? Okay, cool. Generally, you want to get Lot Dodd and that senator out and start searching your force pile every turn, but when they cost +2 each, it becomes very expensive to do that. And so Cellucci's plan might be to just go to space without any Senate and maybe set them up later when it's available. So Mr. Gogolen deploys Kraken onto the Tantive, and that's what I was talking about the extra fodder in case Steven comes down with a lot. He can now lose Mothma if needed, Kraken, that sort of thing, and he does opt to stay there at Tatooine. He doesn't want to move out yet because it gives him that option of losing the droids. They move down to the Dune Sea, they forfeit for 7, and then you can shuttle them back up next turn and move away. Whereas if you lose them at Chandrilla, they just go to Lost Pile. So staying there is a safer, more conservative play, and I like that play right here because he doesn't have to go fast. He doesn't. Cellucci's not putting pressure on him. He's not. It's not a map deck that's doing a bunch of damage early, and it's specifically going to be even slower than normal because of that civil disorder. So playing more conservatively lets him take advantage of that. Take advantage of the fact that Cellucci's not putting on any pressure and is stalled a little bit with his senators. So on Gogolen's turn, Cellucci plays a short range fighters. It lets him get a ship, and so he grabs out Baron ship. And we know last turn he had grabbed Slave 1. So he does have the ability to attack, and Chris Gogolen grabs that short range fighters. So if Steven Cellucci wants to pull out any other ships or wants to use the Lost to spin around Tatooine if he doesn't have any independent ships or an evac control or something like that, he'll have to stack those on the grabber. But that'll let him use other interrupts like squabbling delegates as much as he wants. So looks like right now we got about 23 people in the Twitch chat watching this stream live. So leave any comments, questions you guys have about what's going on. I posted on the forums the 8 decks that are being played. So right now, Steven does play Lot Dodd and Yeb, who cost 2 each, but 4 each with that civil, so he pays 8 for them, and that's going to allow him to flip. his objective, and he also plays Senate Hovercam that'll give him 3 more activations. So he's getting 15 force now, so it's and civil will become less of an impact within another couple turns. If he gets another couple senators out, he can kind of use the force. It's definitely slowed him the first turn, and Stephen Yeb peaks. I think he saw a barrier, and he leaves it, but I'm not 100% sure that's what it was. Um, and and yeah, it definitely slowed him the full first turn, maybe a half turn there because he had to use an extra 4 force there. He didn't get the force pile pull this turn with Lot Dodd, and so civil definitely a card worth adding. Oh, and he does decide to use a Yeb there, so he loses the cannons from hand, which are great against starfighters, but not so much against capitals. Can't target them. The only starfighter you might see in Diplo is Gold Leader and Gold One, which can be really good against Senate, drawing multiple destinies in space. But I think Cellucci either isn't thinking about that or decided he's not too worried about that. And since most of the ships in Diplo are capitals, things like Bright Hope, obviously Tantive that starts there, Profundity a lot of times, then you don't really need the guns for any of those. Um, so Gogolen activates and plays capital support, and that's going to do is limit all the destinies on the ground at Tatooine when he's got a ship there to 1, so he can only draw 1. And and then he plays Corrin and Wedge Red Squadron Leader to the Tantive, which is going to let him cancel a destiny because Wedge works with any Red or Rogue Squadron pilot, which Corrin is a Rogue pilot. And and now he's looking pretty good in space. He's got forfeit fodder. He can cancel a destiny. He's fairly safe. He knows that that Cellucci can attack with probably 2 or 3 destiny, but he can cancel a high one when he sees it, and he does still again just make the safe play and stay there at Tatooine because again there's no pressure. Worst case he takes a drain of 1, but he can always pull battle order to make him pay 3 for that, or pull simple tricks if he just wants to cancel it outright. So Steven squabbles for a Toonbuck, and that's going to let him, once he gets some senators with ambition out, Lot Dot is 1 and Toonbuck's another, will add to the attrition each battle. So he wants to be able to start clearing through some of that stuff on the Tantive. But there's no reason for Gogolen to move out too early. I think it would have been okay moving there just to start making progress because it is going to take 2 turns, unless he's digging for a ship, which also is likely, where he can move to Chandrilla, ship dock, and move the other ship to Alderaan, flip, and be safe at Chandrilla. And that's probably what he's doing, and probably why there's no need to move out now is because he'll flip in 1 turn once he decides anyway. And so he plays Might to pull Bail, and Bale's going to add 1 to each of his drains wherever he has an Alderaan himself, and Leia Organa, and Captain Antilles. So in the field today, we have 2 Black Sun decks, a TTO deck, which actually you're going to see on stream because that's Gogolen's, a Dark Senate deck that you're seeing right now, a Set Your Course deck, a Court of the Vile Gangster deck, a map deck, and a Dark Side Combat deck. And then for light side, there's 2 Diplos. You're seeing one of them on the screen right now. A deck that starts Tatooine and careful planning for a site. A no idea deck that we saw game 8 yesterday didn't fare too well, but hopefully we'll do better today. A Throne Room, 2 Old Allies decks, and a Yavin 4 Operations deck. So lots of variety in the field. I feel like there's a good amount of decks that seem pretty viable in the meta. We have yet to see which ones kind of shake out as the very top ones, and if there's quite a few up at the very top ones. But yeah, when do you want to join in? No, you can hear me talking. All right, Brian Fred's jumping in with all his wisdom.
So why do we have the earpieces on if we can't hear anybody else talking?
Because the microphone's attached to it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Cellucci's using Lot Dot right now to pull a card. I'm guessing it's Boba Fett V, something like that, so he can do some attack. So catch you up real quick, B Fred. This is Dark's turn 3. Gogolen added Civil to his deck last night, making all the senators stupid, and so Mr. Cellucci has been set back a few turns. He's just now on turn 3, deploying his third senator, and hasn't done much else. But he got some activation early, and
12
so
card start.
12 card start. Yep.
You know what match I really wish we had on cam?
What's that?
The lightsaber combat, dark side lightsaber combat versus old allies matchup that's going on right now. Because of the competitive balance thread.
Yeah.
I would like to see Michael Aerosmith's reaction to what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know why you would play Dark Combat right now because not only is Old Allies can just reduce one of the drains down to 1 over on Naboo. When it's flipped, that seems like a bad. The ultimatum is a card. Like, watch your step. If you ever play Dark Senate, can't ever fit in very good space. At best, they're like maybe an Emperor shuttle.
Combat?
Yeah. What did I say? Senate. Lightsaber combat. They're the same objective. They
give away 4 icons.
Yeah, they give away 4 icons. And watch your step is just going to be like ultimatum. What are you going to do? And so many decks play Menace Fades right now, like Diplo and QMC, and like. I think
it sounds like
Senate's
he played
not.
it. He said he's been playing it for 8 years, so I think he didn't think it would
He-
be
yeah,
great,
it's-
but he
yeah,
just
so
wanted to play something that he liked.
Yeah, he's a real old school player, and
He's a real dude, all right.
yeah, we saw him on stream yesterday playing some awesome stuff in Watch Your Step. He had EPP Hans and Screaming Chewies and Back to Tank, and
He was
it
still
just like an
he
old
was
school
still
Watch Your
not playing
Step.
squadron assignments, right? He was playing the
Yeah,
local defense.
local defense, and
I played him in the team tournament.
yeah.
I think
It's an interesting deck.
he's a competent player, but it just seems like
He's a good player.
he
He's
tried to
just
go
he
balls
likes
to the
old
wall too much.
school stuff, and
like he didn't draw any cards when we played the team tournament. He just kept deploying. I kept killing his stuff, so he kept putting a guy in the back to tank, getting him out, and he never drew cards. So he just didn't have answers for anything.
yeah, that can be an issue with Back to Tank. It's so tempting to use, but then it can just choke you.
So for light side, I'm pretty sure from now on I will definitely just play Starship Left combo in every deck. Times at least 1, just because like against Invasion, you pop a few other guys out the droid racks and just not going to have characters left.
Yeah, they do have the new Dr. Aphra to get one of them back.
Reed wasn't playing that guy.
Oh, really?
Reed said that she wasn't any good in there, and I was just like,
I'm not sure I agree.
well, it's either because he's not. If people aren't popping her guys off the racks,
She's not really needed, except I mean you can always top deck or something, but yeah. So right here, Gogolen plays Bale to the. Oh geez, I muted myself. Gogolen plays Bale to the Tantive, and he's just stacking that because he knows Cellucci's plan is
plus
like
3 attrition.
plus
the
2.
center.
It's Yeb.
Well, I mean, if he'll put down, I'm sure.
Yeah, when he adds some more, yeah, there will be multiple
Which
attrition.
is the most annoying thing about playing against Senate. Ooh.
He plays the Starship Love combo to take Bright Hope back into hand. He's actually using the lost function to retrieve a Starship into hand.
It's definitely just like not bad all the way
And
around.
it costs him 4 because Secret Plans is out. And so now he's going to do that flip move I talked about where he's going to move Tantive, do the ship docking to move over, looks like Kraken and R2, and then he'll move Bright Hope over and flip.
Does Darkseid have any like spy ship sort of things they can do?
So there's Presence of the
ISP.
Force.
Oh yes, okay.
And that was a game plan I used when I was playing IG a lot before Worlds last year against Diplo. Was wait till they move their ship to Alderaan and then Presence of the Force, Zuckuss, Emperor Shuttle, and just get a big battle in.
How much IG8 it is now? I actually thought about it being one of the decks that might be good
So
right now.
yeah, when I know Mishki played it at a recent Bespin event. I think you do need to switch away from carbon freezing because of the new counter, so you got to switch back to Jabba's Prize. Whether or not you switch to the IG interrupt, any methods necessary, or 12 card start is still kind of a preference thing. I think IG already kind of struggled with mains, and sometimes
struggles with Nabron,
the freeze, yeah, that too.
which a lot of decks do.
Sometimes the freeze was kind of your only threat. Like I was able to beat Kessling's throne room at Worlds only because I was way behind, but eventually took over the Carbonite Chamber and froze for 8 to catch me up. Without that, I think mains can be real tough.
So definitely away from carbon freezing. So what are your thoughts on map then? While we're waiting for them to just set up some stuff right now.
Justin Desai chimed in and said he thinks Dr. Afra's good. Reed is incorrect. And
Well, I think Justin's right too.
Justin points out that Bale, as a senator, he should have cost +2 with civil,
Oh
and
snap! That's true.
thinks it's
Mom Osmond's a
unlikely
senator
to pay
too, yo.
2.
Oh, she's free though.
She's free,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's free.
Yeah, I mean, he could have paid the 2. I wasn't paying attention to how much he spent, but he probably didn't. I wouldn't have caught that.
There's no way because you even said he spent 2 and played Bale. I think.
Yeah, yeah. And also Leia later when he plays Leia Organa, she'll cost +2 if they catch that.
So while we're waiting for him to deploy that, what is your thoughts on map and how you would play after the erratas?
I think I really like the strategic errata. The only thing I don't like about the starting interrupt errata, I don't think it should cost 1. That's a minor tweak. It's not worth
And I don't think
complaining
it
about.
should be used.
The only reason I don't like tweaking the starting interrupt is because I was seeing it in other decks, and I mentioned this yesterday. But
And now you
I
won't.
saw indoor ops. I saw it in Starkiller base thing that Ummer had. Harpster played it in Senate versus me, and now
And
you
Hunt
won't see it
Down.
in other decks. Yeah, I had a Hunt Down first order, and it's not as good in those other decks now. I wish they'd tweak something related to the objective or something, or not let it start that Kylo effect, so you couldn't guaranteed pull the saber and cancel weapons. Something like that where it just hurt map specifically instead of all the decks that could play that starting interrupt. But as far as map, just looking at map itself, I think map is in a good place. I think it's
If you want to make strategic reserves actually useful in the deck, you have to play like 8 first order.
and I
troopers,
saw that
think.
yesterday. You were playing 8
Yeah,
non-uniques.
but I didn't have any Gick, Masterful Move, Nabrin Protection. So I mean, I knew like the 2 games I lost were the Clash of Sabers and Nabrin.
Yeah.
Both games.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just
It's
can't
trade-offs.
if you play the 8 troopers. You
And that's
can't-
good. I like that they changed that. You have to make that decision. Do you want the more non-unique ones? Because before, I was playing 5 uniques and 5 non. I was playing 2 Phasma, 2 2003s, and a 9s, and then 5 non-uniques. And cutting out half of my cancels is big.
Mhm.
All right, so it looks like he ship-docked over Kraken, but did not move the droids or move Bright Hope and flip. He's just playing it ultra safe because he's like, all Steven's done this game is play 3 senators. He made me lose 1 force with Yeb. There's 2 force with Yeb.
I think this is what you have to do against Senate. You have to make them commit first.
Especially when you have
So
civil,
if-
you can just there's no pressure on you at all, and so I think Gogolen's playing this super
Because the
safe, and that's
Chandrilla
smart.
drain is untouchable.
Right, and he's got Bale there, so it's a drain of 2.
Yep.
But with Wedge Antilles and Core in there, being able to cancel a drain, and then
Oh, those guys! I didn't
yeah,
see those guys.
yeah. So they're there. Bale adds a destiny, so he's getting 2 destinies. He's canceling 1, and he's reducing with Bright Hope. Like that's gonna be tough to touch.
Do you know Cellucci has Guri?
He does.
Okay. Because I know Jonathan Murray was playing like 2 Emperor Shuttle, 2
Guri is
Emperors, 2 Stingers, and
super
2.
baller right now. So it looks like he comes down with Baron and Slave 1 with Fed on board. And I'm guessing, yep, there's the Stinger, and it's the non-V Stinger that doesn't draw from
So it adds
deck,
a
but
BD.
instead adds a Battle Destiny. So right now he's getting Ability, Fet, Baron,
3,
and
4.
Guri.
4
So
destiny.
yeah, he's getting 4 and capping light to 1. One of his 4 will be canceled, and Bright Hope will reduce, but he's got to basically
Oh,
take a
that's
shot.
5 Destiny.
Yep, Tarkin will add with
Boba-
Baron.
Yep.
He'll go on
Or
Boba
a
Fett's ship,
Rebel.
but he'll be able to a Rebel leader. Is that what it is? No, Imperial leader.
Wait.
It's Tarkin.
Imperial Leader or a Rebel, I think.
No, you're thinking of Hera's
Oh,
like
yeah.
2 rebels or an Imperial.
Another place where light size card is just much better than dark size.
Yeah, no, he needs an Imperial leader, but Baron is one, so he's up to 5 destinies now.
And Gogolen's not flip. Ooh.
Ooh, and first strike
And
means
there's
he cannot play.
no cards saved for Gogolen. See, I don't know how I feel. I think First Strike and Draw Their Fire, usually, you can't rely on people
So he
drawing
pays
up
1
all
to
their
battle.
fours.
Gogolen loses resilience, and there is a simple tricks out, so he will not
So-
retrieve.
We'll see. Does
Something just. Would he just take a card from Force Pile?
uh
Or Reserve Deck? He swapped with Boba Fett.
oh yes. So you probably swap into 7, get back something awesome.
Yeah. Either swap out a low destiny or get something you're going to be able to attack more with or do things with. So there's no admirals aboard for like a limiting with a leadership
But
or anything.
the First Strike's out too.
But first strike means he couldn't do that anyway. Exactly.
So he yebbed.
And he loses a combat
that he
response for an
obviously
Achilles
doesn't need
maneuver.
now.
Right. And he
So that's
draws.
a 6 Image of our Dark Lord.
I'll be right back.
I think it was Image, right? So that one got canceled. That's a 5, a 4, a 5. Oh, good lord. There was just a huge smashing.
Whoa. So it looks like
Was that
Destinies
Image? It
are
was Image,
a
right?
lot dot is a 5. Yeah, I think there's a 6, a 7. Just a massive. Obviously, he
So
canceled. So he
did.
canceled the 5, the might, because he hadn't seen the 7 yet come, obviously. And
How
then
did he cancel Might?
not might, but he canceled the squabbling
6.
with
Oh, it was a squabble.
Wedge Red Squadron
Did
leaders.
he get a Destiny to power? Oh, that's the Bright Hope Destiny.
Yeah,
So you drew a 5 and a 5,
5 and
which is pretty
5
pretty
triggers.
good for
Yeah,
Diplo.
yeah. Diplo doesn't always have the greatest destiny, but um, Tom is commenting that he thinks Chris Gogolen gave Cellucci too much time to set up everything.
Yeah.
That he and I agree. I think he could have moved last turn, but I also don't think playing it super safe is that bad.
I think that Diplo's not, even with the Civil Disorder, I think it's really not a great matchup for him because Cellucci's going to be on the attack the whole time.
Yeah.
If he gives him,
But-
if he just throws his
But
stuff down.
all Diplo has to do is just go guy to one guy to every site and run in space. Once all the space fleet is out,
Well, that's what's going to happen after this. Right. Here.
right.
But there's still 2 citizens where
He's-
you can drain for 2 at. Grandma Tarkin, bye bye.
The 5 apparently the very first destiny that was drawn was canceled, and the 5 they put upside down to just represent Bright Hope's -5.
Yeah, well, he drew 5 for both of those.
Justin Desai is wondering what you played for light side yesterday. It was a throne room
Throne
deck.
room.
Yeah.
Throne room that refused to get activation until turn 3 any games.
Mhm.
So it's a pretty tech version of Throne room.
Teched for your opponents.
But I did beat Cellucci with it. Because Padme is bonkers.
Tom counted up and thinks that's about 20 attrition to Chris. So it's looking like Corrin, Bale,
Droid.
Kraken. No, the droid, he doesn't want to send the stolen data planes all the way back to Tatooine and then have to
I
fly back
thought
over
he
and get it.
delivered them.
No, he didn't. I was
What
saying
the-
he should ship dock, move over, and flip. He didn't
Instead,
do
he
that.
put
That's why Bright
Kraken-
Hope is still
yeah,
there.
He put Kraken on
He
there.
put Kraken there and didn't move it. So, but that's why Bright Hope's still there, which saved him another 5 attrition.
Yeah.
So that ended up working out. But no, now he's left with just and he lost Mothma too. So it looks like the droids and one character board Wedge Red Squadron leader is still aboard. So I'm guessing he has Theranet or Nara in hand to go with that Wedge, and then Bright Hope. So
Chris is really, really behind, so he's going to have to find a way just to make him lose some cards at this point.
well, I don't think he's that far behind. Diplo falls behind early and does okay. I think what he's going to do is ship dock and move the Bright Hope over to flip, and then move the Tantive back to
That'd be pretty
Tatooine.
safe.
And then
But-
everything is stuck is there at Chandrilla draining for 1. Obviously Cellucci will move him over, but that's his best play is split the ships, flip, and then he can start going to ground.
It's the only chance he has.
What chance does he have? Yeah, so what's going to be key here, I think, is Cellucci's going to need to be able to. So Cellucci's got multiple of his own systems, Naboo and Kashyyyk, and he's not going to deploy them. He doesn't want to give Chris more places to run to. So what
And
he's
Chandril is only a drain of 1, right?
Chandril
He doesn't have
for
Star
dark, correct? Yeah. So
So-
that's not that key, but what he's going to needs to do is split between the 2 battleground systems, Tatooine and Chandrilla, and kick Chris out of like he has to win space. And so he's going to need to find enough
Does he have a
ships.
shuttle, too?
That looked like Solo was going aboard Bright Hope. Yeah, Emperor shuttle is still in there, and I think
Probably another Tarkin.
no. I was going to say Mars ship, but that got cut for a different persona of her.
He doesn't have a second Grandma Tarkin?
No. Zuckuss, yeah.
So is that Rebellions Are Built on Hope that he just played?
Yes, it is. And that's usually what he starts instead of Civil. Normally he will start Strike Planning, Farm Card, and Rab, but because he was playing against Senate, he started that
Is that
Civil.
We're Doomed I saw? I think I did. So he's got We're Doomed and
It's a hit. evac control is what he takes with the plans card, and he pulls profundity with Rab. So
Yeah.
Jan says a little late on
No,
pulling
no,
evac.
that's good
Obviously,
commentary though.
yeah, but evac will help him in future battle. Obviously, Cellucci's going to split, but he's still going to be getting multiple destinies between Fett and Guri and Baron
And he still has Emperor's Shuttle probably.
and so yeah, an Emperor's shuttle will come out, and so I think being able to cap him to one destiny, this is going to be a key turn for Cellucci though. If he has ships to come down and kill that Tantive, um,
Do we know if there's any barriers in the other deck? Oh yeah, so
oh,
he can't play barrier.
Jan with the quick. Jan points out. I don't know if you guys can hear Jan with his brilliance, but he pointed out starting civil means
Can you
barrier
guys
is
hear
canceled.
Jan?
Can you? Yeah, let us know if you can hear Jan when he makes comments like that. Um,
That's why I tried to put Jan in between us.
Tom. Oh yeah, Tom. Kelly points out that there was no way Chris Gogolen was going to battle him there ever, so he could have afforded to move a ship away to Tatooine so that this exact move couldn't happen. And
So we
so
should probably
imagine
play
if
Black
Slave
Sun
One,
Fleet too.
imagine if Slave One right now was at Tatooine. You're looking so much better as Cellucci. So I think that would have been a smart play. I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
if
I
he had
can't
the
hear you.
force to do so. I feel like when he battled, that was his last force, but I could be. No, he still had force because I was thinking he pulled something from force pile. So yeah, I think him moving a ship to Tatooine would have been a very good play, Tom. That's a good point. And they say they can't hear you, so we'll just relay comments for now. We can, I can try the like mic built into the laptop. It's just kind of crappy. All right,
We'll
so
relay your messages.
Cellucci pulls from his force pile with Lot Dodd, and he's not going to bother to pay to drain because Gogolen played battle plan, and his drains are one, and the Senate would be canceled anyway with simple tricks. So
I think Solution needs to try and set up at a ground site so he can get a free. The pings will just start adding up between Yeb draining the Senate for one, like all the drain ones.
yeah. So Zuckus comes out,
You got 4 1
and
too, do you think?
no, no Forlom. I would think if he could, he'd do Emperor Shuttle here, but
And that would be a pretty good setup to get all that stuff without combat response
right.
and
Oh,
Emperor Shuttle. Was that Tarkin?
he pulls Tarkin back with no escape.
So
And
yeah, if he has an Emperor and Emperor Shuttle and Tarkin here, it's just gonna be a crushing.
well, only Wedge is only going to die. Wedge is forfeit 6. So, oh, he's adding 2 to attrition. So if he can draw like a 5, which there's a lot of spins,
Senators are
squabbles.
+2.
Senators are +2. Evac's not out yet because he just took it in hand in his move phase. He Gogolen does have 4. Yeah, I think if Slave 1 was there right
All he
now,
has
so he
is
was getting 2
Zuckuss.
destinies, it would be brutal.
Oh yeah.
So he has Zuckuss. He's gonna retrieve 1 with first strike. Gogolen's thinking he might pull aim high. It looks like. Yeah, he does. So he'll battle, and then Cellucci will pay 1 to retrieve 1, and Gogolen's gonna have to lose 1.
There's a dodge in his hand. He's losing the dodge. Nope, he's keeping the dodge.
Top decks, it's a hit, so that could be beneficial later.
How did
Can't
he?
loop
I
that
thought
against
Golan
Maul.
had no force saved.
No, he saved. He saved some. Oh, so Spiral
Ooh.
reacts and is canceled with get combo. So that goes back to his hand. And that would have given Gogolen a destiny because he has.
Oh, the Emperor Shuttle is in his hand. He just must not have that Emperor.
Yeah.
So that's
He
a
does
4
Passel.
+2. So
It's a 5. He has.
No, that guy. Oh,
Yeah,
that guy's ambition.
Yeah, he does. So he's a 5 plus
So
2 is
7
7. So
attrition
that'll
will kill the
clear the system, which is huge. I mean, if he had drawn
Yeah,
like
tracking. No, they're tracking us.
he's gonna Jedi Love Obi into hand and draw 5, which is a 0 from Zuckuss, but he just wanted the Obi into hand. So it's power 8 to power 9. So it's basically that 7 attrition is gonna just clear everyone. And now Cellucci's going to split his 2 ships between the 2, probably keeping a bit more at Chandrilla because
The Bright Hope can't
Hope,
move to Tatooine.
yeah, can't doesn't have hyperspeed to go straight to Tatooine, and we'll have to stop off there.
And yeb away Poe Dameron.
And yeb Poe Dameron. So despite Civil, Cellucci's looking in a okay spot here, maybe even pretty good, because Gogolen will have to have a ship in space. He can't afford to pay 3 to drain 1 at Dune Sea, pay 3 to drain 1 at the Lars Farm. I mean, Cantina will be his only drain of 2.
No, you were right, Blue Baron.
And he's. I think I would have done it the other way, because then you can have a passenger at either one. Yeah, so then you could have. He's got Tarkin
right?
in hand. Yeah, so he could do Tarkin over on Slave 1 or Tarkin.
He's also got half the Emperor shuttle combo. Also, he just needs an Emperor.
Yeah, which Lot Dodd will get him. But anyways, so Gogolen has to be at a battleground system to be able to. The Cantina's his only drain of 2, and
there's not even a
Cantina because Bale's dead, and we saw him just use his Jedi Lev as the used function. Yeah, Cantina's not out yet, but there is one in the deck.
And now Cellucci can literally just wait and just attack people on the ground with first strike.
First strike and EPP Maul.
And then just drain in space.
Yeah, so now.
2. Yeah, Gogolen's he needs to find a way to make him lose force. This is pretty bad.
Oh, Bastion points out something important. Combat response isn't on table, so Saber 1 can't hyperspeed. He lost the combat response, thinking I don't need to flash anyone anymore. And
maybe they pointed that out
there. Yeah. Gogolen probably said that doesn't work. He has no hyperspeed. And Bastion noticed. Thank you for adding in those thoughts, catching those things. And Gamer Girl points out she'd like to see Cellucci be yebbing basically every turn, and he did. He that's why Poe was on Lost after killing the Tantive last turn.
And he got an Antilles maneuver the turn before.
Yeah. So he's definitely doing yeb, and that's how Bright Hope got lost. Mike Turner points out that which let him Starship Lev it back, but it was still a good move to do so. So yeah, he's definitely yebbing every turn, lot dotting every turn.
Boss.
All right, so Theranet comes down onto Spiral.
For 1, probably. Get the Admiral's Order.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if Cellucci's probably playing Black Sun Fleet in this deck, too, because he had it in his Sacred Course deck.
And then he's going to...
You got another wedge?
He's got Nara, which will let him draw... No, only at a site. I think if you deploy Nara or another rogue pilot to the same or related site, you can draw one from reserve.
Rogue, I think.
Red or rogue. And then Bright Hope moves out. So now, it was Profundity, not Spiral. So, but we know he's still holding that Spiral, and Cellucci does a squabbling to pull out a Senator. So now we're looking at
probably like an Axmo, maybe.
Light side is Profundity's power 6 plus Kraken is 2 is 8, plus Bright Hope is 1 is 9 plus
not looking good.
2 random dudes power 13. And then you got the Destiny to subtract, and the Spiral can react, so that'll be power 18. And 1 Destiny versus... It was canceled with Gik, so it went back to his hand. If you cancel a react, it...
So I played against...
No, he played Profundity. Yeah. So Spiral's still in hand.
I played against Jonathan Murray's Senate yesterday. It's pretty similar, except the space. And... I know that my strategy I've seen in the past, because if you just let them build up in the Senate and do whatever they want, they just house you. So I just started attacking his Senate immediately because he's getting 4 force. And then he put a guard down and overflowed me for 6 to make me Gik. But then I just kept fighting his guys until finally I let him have it until I got Padme and Anakin. And then at the end of the game, Padme and Anakin were just sitting in the Senate.
Yeah, they don't get their text canceled, and she adds a Destiny to attrition, and he adds 1 to the Destiny.
And just for all of you guys listening out there, Padme is definitely one of the most OP cards, if not the most OP card there is. And people laugh at me, but she's insane. You can ask Stephen Cellucci and Jonathan Murray about that.
And
I must have killed 10 senators in that game.
Phil says, good morning, Brian Fred.
Morning, Phil. Hey, I won the team tournament with Tom Hayes, so I don't know if you're getting put on the back burner. You guys are just sort of both pretty cool, you know.
They're gonna have to fight it out at Worlds to see who can be your teammate.
The two of them will have to team up at Worlds, so it'll be like the symbiont circle. Completed.
You'll be their coach. No, Brian Fred. No, always 2 there are.
Oh yeah.
So he plays Axmo, who is another attrition senator, and
And so is
Edsel, who's
he.
another. So now he's going to be adding four. They're both ambition, Edsel and
And he's
Axmos.
setting it up so he can at least retrieve, what, 5 late?
Edsel will cap all of light to just one battle destiny on the ground,
Yep.
and Axmo adds to capital power. It won't matter. He's right now he's only adding them because they're ambition senators, so he's going to add
And
two more.
since this is a diff game, like that 5 retrieval later
Oh,
on.
he plays a second Gick to cancel.
That is insane.
Oh, so he retrieves with the first strike first,
Wow.
and then he plays a second Gick combo. Which I'm not sure I like that because I feel like you might need that Gick later with Maul.
If he doesn't deploy on the ground, though, which is.
Possibly he might be able to just win based on paying 3 to drain 2, 1 and 1, pay 9 to drain,
Yeah.
and then yeb.
Or just hit and run them all and never have him just like sitting at a site.
Well, he could decline to draw and then come down
That's
with
true.
a bunch of stuff.
But Gogolen's also not doing any damage, so if Cellucci can battle again, he'll retrieve. He
That's
might have
true.
retrieved a get combo already. I don't
No,
remember.
because
No?
he yebbed after that for
That's
the.
true. That's true.
So he just retrieved some.
So he should have
Destiny
yeb
5 that he
before the
yebbed.
battle, probably.
Yeah, peaked at the Destiny and then
So now he just did it
he
in
loses
battle.
the Sonic. Yeah, he did it in battle. He loses Sonic. So both his Gicks are buried. He spins for
Taking
6
a
with Baron
6.
to get around evac because it's grabbed, so he has to pay 2.
He had double dark maneuvers in his 6-foot deck, which is crazy.
And then he draws a 3. So he spun for a 6, draws a 3, that's 9. Baron adds 1, that's 10, and 4 extra attrition makes 14 attrition for Gogolen that I see. And then Gogolen draws a 5, and then Bright Hope's a 1, so it becomes 13 attrition. The droids cover. Oh, Commander Nara adds 1, so he'll have 6 attrition himself. So
Good catch, John.
Cellucci is not immune, which is a bummer for him when
probably the
evac is
Indiguri.
played. So he's going to have to decide what to lose here. With 14 attrition, the droids will cover 7, and he'll have to lose another 2 characters.
So maybe this is Gogolen's best plan to try and win the war of attrition in space. With the Bright Hope's help.
He's looking like he just lost the droids, and they're in. Oh, is Insurrection out? No. I think they miscounted the attrition or didn't add with the Senator or something. Because he drew a 5.
He drew Nara's a 4. What else did he lose?
The droids, that's 11. I think they didn't count the attrition
Still
right,
don't.
right? Battle Destiny was a 5. Baron adds 1, 6. Or no, it was a 3, cents. Baron adds 1, 4. Plus
4. It's 8.
plus 8. Plus he spun for a 6. Oh, Baron. No, Baron adds 1 to the total. He spun for 6 is 14. Minus Bright Hope's -1 is 13. And he only forfeited for 11. So I don't know what they didn't count. It was a 2. Captain Antilles is a 2? Okay. So that still should be 12. He must not have added Baron's 1. He must have done 11 and just made him lose the ship or the droids for 7. And
I could see that.
yeah, so I think he should have killed another card there and just miscounted. Phil asked if he's adding 4 or
By
just
how
3. I
much?
think he's adding 4. He's got
21.
Toonbuck, Lot Dodd, Edsel, and Axmo, who are all ambition dudes. So he should add 4 there.
So apparently Reed Smith is one with light side against Brian Mischke by 21 in game 1.
Whoa! So to update you on that match, you saw yesterday, Game 8, Jonathan Murray's No Idea deck get stomped by Mischke's Set Your Course deck. Mischke played the same Set Your Course deck today, and then Reed Smith played No Idea, but the game apparently went in a totally different direction, and Reed
Reed's
Smith...
deck is totally different than,
It's a weird...
than Jonathan Murray's, yeah.
Yeah, so he... but apparently Reed's No Idea. I'm going to be excited to see that deck list. Reed's No Idea beat that Set Your Course by 21. So that's going to be interesting to find out. Oh, so Gold Leader and Gold 1 comes out.
And Cellucci has no Destiny
And
save.
Cellucci has no Destiny save, so he's not going to
Wow.
get any Destinies.
And so the Bright Hope, if you don't draw a Destiny though, can the Bright Hope still subtract 5 from your power? I think it does because it's total power.
That one was for you. That one was for you, motherfucker.
Did you just smash him in a battle? What happened?
In like multiple battles.
Multiple battles? Whatever, Reed.
Apparently Reed
Good-
Smith just
One battle damage. That was for you, Brian.
Good job, Reed Smith. Reed Smith is a fucking animal, is what it all boils down to.
Gold Leader and Gold 1 is clutch here.
Good lord. So he's Bright Hoping for 5 and drawing a 5.
Yeah, I don't know if...
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the Bright Hope subtracts
Phil-
from total power too.
Phil says Bright Hope cannot subtract without attrition.
It's
But Tom says the same thing. You need to have attrition to be able to subtract from power and attrition because
it's power and
it's
total battle destiny. I don't think it's
it's not
attrition.
power and or attrition. It's not and or attrition. It's and attrition. And if there's no attrition to subtract
So do
from,
we
you
need to
can't
say
do that.
something? Or
This is I don't think we're active judging this. So there as far as I know, this is not active judge. I think later rounds might be.
so is Baron getting lost? Is what's going? Yeah.
Baron and Saber one, and it looks like he top decked one as well.
So the Emperor's Shuttle probably needs to not being able to draw battle this in this
Yeah,
battle is really
Tom-
bad for Cellucci.
Tom says attrition is part of the implied target of Bright Hope's ability. So I don't know if they. It looked like they were doing that though. Looks like there is a question about that though. Matt Carulli isn't positive about that, but I know Tom plays Sergeant Bark a ton in entanglements and,
So he's
and
probably asked
probably
questions
knows
about him a
all the
lot.
rules of that.
Sergeant Barrack is badass, by the way, Tom. Well done, sir.
Yeah, Bastion also confirms Bright Hope doesn't work here. You can look it up on the rules forum. Yeah, but now it's not looking so good for Cellucci. Mishki just came out and said that no idea deck is nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I know what the deck is, but I'll wait to. I don't want to like put it on commentary so people can just like send messages about the deck to people. But yeah, it's pretty.
pretty sure his next round is these two who are sitting here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we might see it on camera.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll have to wait till the finals.
Yeah.
The new Scarif objective has a lot of potential, by the way. So people start working on that for Worlds and see who has the most broken version.
It looks interesting.
See who actually has an idea instead of no idea.
So now Cellucci, he needs to find Emperor and Shuttle, and
He's got the shuttle in hand and a Tarkin.
Bright Hope can't subtract.
Hayes said you could.
You-
Now they're re-looking at it
You can't. You 100% can't.
because Hayes said that because total power is there.
Why are they still playing though? Why didn't they pause for the ruling?
Because Hayes said, and then I guess now he's looking at it again.
Oh,
He's
okay.
wrong. You need to subtract from power and attrition, not and or attrition. And so if there's no attrition to
They-
subtract to, it's an implied target that there has to be attrition there.
I think they're looking it up now. So they might go back because he lost some cards.
How can they go? He lost one extra card. He lost
A lot Dodd.
A lot Dodd.
Maybe an image.
Retrieved yet?
No.
No.
He doesn't have the interrupt in his hand, and he didn't. So
So
So they just took back the two. It looks like he took Lotball back to hand and the one he top decked, and
now he's just losing Baron.
it's just the extra power. Now it's just Baron to the attrition. So they are fixing it. All right, looking at this board state here,
Gogolen's starting to slowly come.
Gogolen, yeah, and Diplo does that where it can look
The
behind
gold leader
and then
thing
it
was
comes
huge.
back. Gold leader,
Like so, Cellucci
Is ridiculous.
Cellucci really needed to be able to draw Battle Destiny there.
yeah, and that was what I was talking about earlier with the cannon, or just always needing to save.
'Cause-
Yeah, if he had drawn 3 Destiny there, he clears
No,
out a bunch of stuff.
He has the evac, but he still get 1 Destiny plus 4 attrition, which would kill 2 things again probably.
Yeah. So now with Bright Hope with Solo aboard, Profundity with like Nara or who's
Nara,
Darrenet,
it's Nara,
one
'cause
of
he
one of the
lost
noobs.
Darrenet.
Yeah, okay. And then Gold Leader sitting at Tatooine against Jazucus.
And I'm not sure what that Baru is doing unless, he's going to lose him 3/4 if he's just planning on dodging.
Yeah, I think he just wants to start establishing some ground presence, understanding that Maul might come attack. He probably has some evasion in his hand. It could be a barrier, could be a
Well, we saw Cellucci.
dodge.
It looks like Cellucci at least has a sense or a Gik in his hand.
He's played 2 Giks.
So it probably is a sense.
Yeah, so Maul comes down,
Or the very last card when he flashes his hand.
and it doesn't look
That is
like
a
there
sense.
is no Triumph table. There's a Simple Tricks, a Grabber, a Battle Plan, and an Aim
So
High.
he's probably shield busted.
Yeah, there's probably no do or do not available. Yeah, Phil did link in the chat a link to the ruling that you cannot do that. So they did go back and fix that.
So we know I can see a dodge in Gogolen's hand. Is firepower out or both shield busted? So no firepower.
First he Antilles maneuvers before battle to
Make him spend one.
make him pay 1 to swing a weapon. Which I don't know why you do that if you're going to be dodging. I guess if you're thinking my dodge might be canceled, might as well make him pay one. Um, the Cellucci losing that Saber 1 there was big because now he's going to run out of ships to be able to split. If he has to move everyone to Tatooine, Gogolen can run and just stay alive in space. And so now the game
Saber
plan.
one's back.
Saber 1's back.
So he is dodging.
And he does dodge, which gets sensed.
2 senses there then. It's always nice to be able to
And
play
he draws,
sense.
yeah, he draws a sense for Destiny.
Always
oh
nice.
no, why was there 2 senses?
Oh god, a fucking 0. And there's
okay, that's what I thought, but then he immediately drew.
There's a
so
hit.
0-4 hits Owen and Brew.
Was that Kashyyyk?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know why he's not playing that boo because the sender adds
he has
damage.
both.
Oh, he has 2 systems. Nice.
He does. In case of like profit.
Because he does have a lot of space in there.
Yeah, and so Tom points out he might be able to squabble his space back, and that's what I was going to say is like without
there's 5 senders there.
Yeah, without Saber 1, it's going to be tough to split between 2 systems, and then you're just chasing in space.
So,
but if he can squabble some of that back and
taking Baru Lars in the hand, so she can actually block
or
the
Jin,
Senate drain.
he took Jin in. Yeah.
Who did I say?
Barula.
Oh.
So Hujix is drawn.
If Mon Mothma was out, that would have been pretty sweet. Could have taken Hujix in the hand.
Yeah.
So is he going to lose 1 and then solo? Yes.
Nice. That was a smart play.
That was
lose the
that was
Hujix
a good
and then,
that was a good draw.
Yeah, it was a good Destiny to draw.
Just enough to kill Maul, just enough to know where Hujix is. That 5 retrieval though.
And Zuckuss moves away. He can't afford to move.
He's going to probably try and piece this space back together. This is
right. There's
1 now.
Yeah, with Guri dead, Baron dead.
Because what will he retrieve for 5? He'll get he got the ship back, so he'll get Baron, Maul,
Hey,
Guri.
Jan, do you want to ask? Can you go ask for a life force count? So let's figure out how much they got in life. Gogolen has a pretty healthy hand. I think they both do, but then we'll kind of know how much they're working with and how far ahead or behind each player looks.
Gogolen has 13 in life force.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Cellucci.
Cellucci, I think he's got a good chunk more. I think he's probably got like 20.
For a count. Uh-oh. Jan has a look on his face like it's not looking too good for somebody.
Very grouchy at me for asking for a life force count, but it's
21 to 12. Which one got grouchy?
Probably the one that's...
Oh, I was gonna say they should be shamed on thread. Like
Hayes spent the entire day coming over and asking if I was stalling when all of my opponents
so
were
much
taking 20
discussion on the
turns.
forum was about how important this stream is to the future of the game and how it should get priority in marketing and blah blah blah. And
People
then they
love this stuff. This keeps people interested that actually can't go to events. You know.
Cool. I love it. It's great. I've been having a great
like,
time, but I think a life force count is not a big deal.
Yeah,
not a
big
major
deal.
interruption when you're not in the middle of a big decision when it's your activate phase or whatever. Like count it. Yeah, cool. That's fine.
So Obi-Wan is not coming out. Luke is coming out.
All right. He wants to flip Black Sun back.
He wants to get a use pile pull.
Yeah. Okay.
There's still a 0 in there. Is that the Cantina?
Yeah. Cantina or Mos Eisley?
See, I kind of want to make a Diplo that only uses the Dune Sea and the Cantina and Mos Eisley and not the farm because it's
Used pile pulls are so good though.
What if you start it but don't use the farm?
You could. Do you get enough force otherwise though?
Oh god, like Chandril is like 4. Walkling
If
you
you're
start
there.
Walkling. Yeah, well, I mean, you should try and prioritize that place. Obviously, you can't right now, but
I think it'd have to be a stronger ground package then, because you don't want mains just taking over your Cantina
well, I mean,
and
you basically put like a crew of dudes at
Yeah.
one site and then get Drain of Force.
Yeah.
And maybe retrieval.
All right, so looks like he has.
You know what's
has
funny
Cantina
about the
in
Jedi
hand.
Love being on there? It's like if you pull it off and you want to Jedi Love a character, you still can't. Because you just pulled the card off.
Oh yeah, you can't use it used if you
I
took
feel like
Jedi
he
Love
should have
off.
pulled that off before Jyn Erso. Because what's he going to do with Jyn Erso?
Right. I agree, because
They didn't give him options.
Simple Tricks is stopping the Senate drain anyway.
Yeah. So does Lucy have a ground sight at all, or no? He's just playing like probably 3 times Maul to attack with on the ground.
Yeah.
and maybe some Phantom Menaces. No, so they're over there talking about Reed's game. Don't
Alright,
worry,
so
man. I beat a guy at a
Cellucci-
regional in like 6 minutes with a deck like that once. One of the best players in my state too.
Does it have Jedi presence in the deck?
No,
Huh.
don't say
How
anything
do you-
about it. No, I will confirm that there's probably no Jedi presence though. Probably. Oh, you can't play Jedi in Scarif, can you?
I don't know.
So no, there is no Jedi presence.
That's a good point. Jan knows card text.
We
Can't play Jedi in that deck.
We can in fact
so
confirm
that
there is
would
no
be.
Jedi presence in the right side deck. So he's retrieved. Is he retrieving?
So he
his
goes
five?
to Maul. He gets a second battleground with Maul.
So
He
Baron
pays 5 to retrieve
and Guri.
Anguri. That's going to be big.
And a Phantom Menace, which is always nice because Cellucci is good at tracking. I hear.
Yeah. Those
Maul
poker skills,
battle.
Maul battles.
Get
He
another
loses
force.
Cantina from hand. I guess I don't like that play. I feel
I
like
don't-
at some
I
point
think
he swings and hits 5/5.
Gogolen's only got 12 life force left.
That's
too.
true.
So the canteen is probably not happening. He's just trying to make him lose cards
They
right
each
now.
hit.
Honestly, the best play might have
Hey,
been
he
been
takes a
draw
Jedi
before
Love
the
from
squabble.
evac. Might have been what?
The best move for Gogolen might have been to draw it before he squabbled for 5 more.
He
cards.
draws a 1 versus a 2, so Maul is power 8 and Luke is that 2 plus 1 from the objective makes 3, so 8 to 8. So no overflow, but just having that Maul out,
Yeah,
let him
man.
retrieve 5 with the squabble, let him retrieve 1 from the first strike
Gogolen's play was to draw up this game. Because
before he could squabble,
because
before get those 6. He's not going to do 6 more damage
no,
this
he
turn.
is not, and he's got like 8 cards in his hand, so that's 6 more. Life
He's still
force.
drawn. Cellucci still doesn't feel confident because he's not doing a ton either. Whoops! He accidentally reveals a card when peeking
So
at the
there's
top.
a yeb
So he
again.
does burn a ray with
There's a
combat
response again. I don't know if it's the same one or one he retrieved. I would put it-
Gogolen
it might play
activates,
too.
pays 6 for Obi.
The Obi-
Obi's 5. Maybe he only paid 5. I miscounted. That must have been it. Pays 5 for Obi.
So there's another
Flips.
force retrieval.
Yeah, I mean if he's got
This
another
is-
Maul in hand,
Well,
or
I mean, he
or,
just retrieved the one at the top, so he activates 2, it draws it with Flat Dot.
Law Dodd, and then
Yeah, I don't like this play by Gogolen. But I mean, I guess if
he doesn't have a lot of plays though.
well, I mean, the
I
not
guess-
drawing up play.
sort of analyzing it. Yeah, not drawing up. Sort of analyzing this, it looked like Cellucci was able to get real ahead in that first battle. Gogolen came back, but the constant
It was too much
damage
yeah.
just
The
got
yeb
Cellucci
yeb-
ahead,
yeb yeb has cost
and
like
he
5
almost
force
took no
loss.
damage. Cellucci was the one battling more with first strike. He took the one battle where Gold Leader initiated, but other than that, he's just forfeited a couple dudes and just hasn't
And he
had to
just
lose any
retrieved all those
cards,
dudes.
and he just retrieved a bunch. So
And Gogolen's not doing enough damage to make him not be able to find those guys if he cares to. Oh, there we go. But there's another first strike damage too.
so he moves over to iffy battles. He may not need to.
He might have the Emperor and Shuttle and be able to lot dot up
So he
the
Bish shuffles.
Guri again.
Gogolen plays Bish shuffle to
Ooh.
shuffle his reserve. So,
So now that's interesting.
he won't.
So now we know he can't.
But he's activating a lot, and he can lot Dodd. But even with Emperor Shuttle, something like that, I don't know that I'd bother attacking space right now if you've got them all.
Yeah,
I just
if
go,
you have them all, you battle the Obi.
yeah, Maul Obi and run in space for the moment, and just. But yeah,
Or maybe put stuff out in space, let Gogolen attack,
with
and then
I think
counterattack.
I think he retrieved Gik combos too. But I was gonna say if the Giks were
He
dead,
still has the spiral, doesn't he? That's hilarious.
I think if the Giks were dead, you might want to just pile a site so that Maul can't touch you without risking overflow. USA Gamer Girl points out Yeb did like 6 and first strike is swung
Yeah.
like 10 force between 5 battles, and it's
Yeah.
little pings like that.
I think Gamer Girl kind of loves Yeb because she's been making she's been pointing him out all over. She's hyping
I
up
love Yeb too. I love Yeb when you can just peek and it's a high destiny before battle and you're like kill it, or if it's just like a good card, you're just like no.
So,
Sometimes a random Luke's lightsaber is on top or whatever.
I don't know who Gamer Girl is, but if I ever meet her, she's signing a Yeb for me.
All right, so he uses accelerate to just check his reserve.
And get a life force.
And he has others still coming through in case of a barrier or whatever, but there's no barrier.
So he battled.
Battles and pays 1 to retrieve 1. Spiral does die here. Forfeits the spiral, or not forfeits, but loses. He swings and hits.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Can you do that more than once per turn? Doesn't it have
I think it.
During your
I think
move
it's
phase,
once.
may use 1.
Because it's
Probot, once per turn. Is it once per turn or not? During your move phase, may use 1 to break cover. It specifies a duration,
So that
move
means it's
phase,
only once,
phase,
right?
and it used to use singular, a or 1. You can use 1 to break cover of opponent's site. I think it's twice.
It's unlimited?
Let's ask the people.
When he broke 2 eyes cover in the same
Okay.
turn.
So it probably works. I'm sorry. Thanks for. Sorry to interrupt, guys.
No, no worries. So he Jedi Levs Obi, which gets grabbed. This Obi died. Scott came in with a ruling. Obi died, and there's some overflow. He decided to Jedi Lev his destiny, but
He couldn't if he
the
pulled
objective's
it,
going to flip back.
So he pulled the Jedi Lev and Jedi Lev's his destiny.
No, he pulled it last turn on the Luke battle.
I thought he didn't
and
know.
didn't
There
use
was
it.
one card on there now.
I don't think so.
There was one card. I could be wrong.
So he does flip back now that Obi's dead, and he's down to about 5 in life force. Yeah, and Cellucci just moved away. There's an empty stinger which has no presence.
Who?
Oh, he
Pete won with Darkside Lightsaber.
he didn't
combat
move the
against-
stinger, and it's non-V that has a pilot. He's going to get overflowed a ton here
Wow.
because Guri deploys free aboard and it suspends permanent pilot. But right now, I don't know. He forgot that it has a pilot or something.
There's no way this happened.
You think he took Gik with Lot Dodd? I don't think
I
so.
don't think he has a gig.
I think he retrieved one with Squabble. But here,
This is like
I think this was just a major screw up. There was 2, but I think he retrieved with Squabble, but I don't think he took it back. I think he just forgot that Stinger has a permanent pilot. It's suspended if Guri's aboard, but she's not aboard, so it has ability of 1, whereas the non-V, I think he's
doesn't have
about
a
to
gig.
peel a bunch here. Oh. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 cards he has to peel because he forgot that Stinger. And he has force saved, and now Gogolen concedes, and they'll count life force. But, whew, that's a big mistake.
that.
14 force is a big in the match, but he still looks like he has about at least a dozen. I don't know. Oh, no. Yeah, it looked like he conceded. I don't know. He put out a handshake. I don't know why he
I think it was because Cellucci can retrieve another force maybe by battling.
battling where?
There.
But then
Chandrilla.
with what?
I don't know. Emperor Shuttle and Emperor.
No, I think they're still going. I don't know why he did that handshake. It was just a fake out for us.
Maybe he was saying because like, oh, good play, or something. I don't know.
Did he like gravity shadow it or shut down the or something?
Chat's pretty surprised at that play, as surprised as we are. As soon as
Yeah,
as soon as I
we're-
saw Stinger there, I was like, what is he? Whew.
I didn't even think of it
Peel
until you
14.
said something.
Yeah. That permanent pilot provides ability 1. Says Guri may be added as a pilot. Suspends permanent pilot.
Deploy this stinger. Can you? Oh, it's independent.
Well, he moved all the ships away but left the stinger there for some reason. I have no idea why.
So he pays 3 to drain 2 here. He took 14 overflow because he forgot to move Stinger away because it
And
has a permanent pilot.
I can't believe he forgot though. He's not that shit.
You brain fart sometime. Yeah, no. Yesterday in his set your course, he played virtual Stinger all day, and so today he's playing non-V. He just didn't think of it.
So in case, I've heard that the Darkside Lightsaber combat has beat Old Allies by 13.
No, really?
Keith, can you confirm you lost by 13? Yeah.
With old allies against lightsaber combat? Wow.
Jakey, but they have like 10 Orson's blaster.
Oh, the
Oh,
Orson's blaster rifle saber combat.
Like he put on Maul. So while you guys are here,
And you could fly them all around.
he just. Yeah. So apparently this lightsaber combat has a bunch of Aura's blasters that become 9s for
And if it
weapon
has,
battle
like,
destiny, and
Maul strikes in
they
it.
just swarmed over the sites over on
Maul
Jakku.
flying over in front of people, then Maul strikes them in the battle and stuff like that, just to kill them
Well,
by
there's
drawing
no
7/7.
there's no Jedi for Maul strikes in old allies.
Well, I mean, just in other matchups.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
it is like interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah.
That stinger. Oof.
That stings, man.
Wow,
How?
wow. So Jan
Janssen.
Westergaard has said that stings, man. Wow. Too soon, Jan. Too soon.
Alright, he
Oh.
yebs one. Gogolen's so low right now that I think that's a great call. Like, he's at 3 life force.
And now he can drain for 1, and he's probably going to move. So
No, he just draws. Alright,
Uh,
so let's get the final count here. There's no point in draining for 1 because Cellucci has 1 in hand.
yeah. So 14, and he could have won by another 14. So it could have been 28, which is pretty high.
Yeah, 28 would almost secure the match. 14 is a lot closer.
So now
Um,
I've been made privy to the information that Chris Gogolen is playing TTO. So if TTO actually wins this event, you can all say, "Oh, TTO needs 5 more counters."
This is game 1, Justin. He won. I saw that. Yeah, 14 overflow. Cellucci's here. He's
And Jan said that stings, man.
But you know what? You still won the game by 14. So
I beat the
don't get tilted. Yeah, and he had civil, and you still won by 14, peeling 14, third to last turn. You're good.
You would have told me I would have won that game before the game by 14. I'm totally happy.
Yeah. Don't get tilted.
And
Be a little tilted though. That was dumb.
It's like, here you go. Here's my weakest ship.
I'll move everyone except the weakest one. Have at it.
Gravity shadow or
we're like, did he retrieve one of his gigs and he's just leaving it there?
That was really like it's like, oh, now I have to play another game.
Shake it off, man. You don't want to. But
Now, yeah.
Just need the practice.
if you got too confident, like
14
I did
versus
at
28
NPC
in a
that
match
year,
play is
if you would
huge.
have won by 28,
But
maybe you just like do
it's
something
good for
stupid,
us
you know?
because the next game will be it'll have a little more drama in the next game versus going, all right, Gogolen's got to win by 28, so he's got to. It's the same thing versus when I played Beef Red at Indoor, that was on
and
camera. You can go to
couldn't
YouTube
verify your
and
gig.
yeah, and I was just played terrible, and he
You were-
played
you were-
well
you
game
were-
one,
you
and
were
I just got
struggling.
crushed, and so I had to play. Watch Your Step should beat TTO pretty reliably, and Phil did the next game with the
To be
same
fair,
step
I had
deck.
like the most abysmal luck I've ever seen in forever, but he's still a great
Yeah,
player.
yeah, but
And it's
step
advantage.
should be advantaged. But I had to play it to win by an absurd
Yes.
amount, so I couldn't play a standard game, and then just got crushed in the second game too, and that's what we would be seeing here probably if
Yeah,
it
so
had been
Cellucci
28.
came
Gogolen
out-
would have had to play just a very weird game next game, and 14
now
is
there's a
doable.
game.
Yeah, so it'll be much more interesting.
And we're
for
going to
us.
see TTO on camera, which I'm pretty happy about.
Tom says TTO is the worst match for Step. Once you have that effect, what chance do we have?
Yeah, it's fine.
I
Tom.
think it's totally fine.
It's fine.
You
I've
end up
always-
at multiple
I've
sites
always-
and reduce their damage and dink around in space and do
But-
damage on the ground. And USA Gamer Girl says, "You know someone's a good Senate player when they put Orn Frita back in their reserve."
Did he do that?
I don't think so.
Orn
Orn
Frita
Frita was
on the
never
table.
played.
I don't
No.
think Orn Frita was on the table. But yeah, you're right. You're right about that. I've definitely missed that before.
Cellucci won by 14. Yeah. So that all right.
So I think TTO, it was 2015 when Desai won.
Yes.
Well, that year I lost twice in day 2 to TTO when I was watching
With Step.
And since then, I've lost 0 games to it
Out of
probably like 6-7 games in
Yeah.
tournaments.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. If I would have activated 2 more force in either of those 2 games I lost, I would have won. All you need is the force activation and a set for stun canceller.
at least you got the stinger thing to cut it from 28 to
Dude,
14.
You're like, I'll take that.
Did you look and
We
like
were in here talking. We were like, I think he should have drawn up before the squabble, and then that happened. You're like, oh, I'll take that 9.
the same thing too, and I was just like, all right. I'm like,
You're like, well, now I'm in it.
I can't do anything. I'm like,
I-
that's not the V stick. That one has a pilot.
Wow.
And he's just like, played the deck last
yesterday he had the virtual all day. Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Man,
This one has never happened. I thought maybe you snuck like a gravity shadow into your deck somehow.
the light side gravity shadow.
Justin says, "You know someone's a good Senate player when senators appear at sites that aren't the Senate. Either they're a good Senate
That's
player or
true.
they're desperate."
I had a dark side Senate deck to just put down search. It just had all ground sites. When I ran out of cards, I just put Senators.
Let me
on my
stop
Nephew
the
sites.
recording on this. The stream's going to keep going, but our random chatter won't necessarily go with this first game. So I'll stop the recording. We'll start it before the next game again, but we'll still be here streaming.